Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to move over into demo mode, and we're going to start looking at some lab demonstrations on how we do these things. So, in our lab, we've got, this is our PC, this is our Pi, here's our patch cable. I've got no power connected. I've got HDMI connected. I've got the bouncing keyboard connected via Bluetooth. So let's begin with the first exercise, which is attaching your Raspberry Pi to the LAN through a bridge connection. Okay, what you see here is a network computer. It is not this. It's not this little PC. This is another PC on the network. So we're going to attach to this little PC by remote desktop. That's easy enough. We know who that is. That's Blowfly. That's the name of that small PC. And we're going to open our control panel, network and internet, network connections. This is, by the way, Blowfly is a Windows 7 computer. But this control panel, this applet, is the same in Windows 10 and Windows 7. This has not changed. As you see, the local area connection is unplugged, even though it is plugged in, because the Raspberry Pi is turned off. We're going to bridge from that local area connection to the wireless network connection to wire 63. Now, if I attempted to make this bridge with that network cable unplugged, it would fail. It has to be enabled. So the first thing we're going to have to do is plug in our Raspberry Pi. Now, when we plug the Pi in, you see that it begins to identify. The Pi does not pull an IP address because that port is not attached to anything. It's just one computer looking at another computer, not much going on. So what we can do, though, is we can you can see that Blowfly has was at 164, but it's no longer available. Our DNS has suddenly changed. We're getting the wrong DNS resolution because all of a sudden we changed IP addresses on Blowfly when we did that bridging. It pulled another one. We can do a quick scan. So there's Blowfly at 164, and here's Blowfly at 173. So Blowfly is now at 173. So we can remote desktop it back into Blowfly. But we don't really have to do that. Let's if we look on here. For 22, there we go, an open port 22 right there, and that's at 192.168.1.69. If we plug that in, you have connectivity. Also, if we plug that in over here in our putty terminal, okay. I have configured that was 69. Now, I want to note right here, this is different than the book describes. The book says that this would show up as the Raspberry Foundation MAC address. But it's an Intel right down here. You see this MAC address on 173, which is actually the host blowfly? Same MAC address. So that bridge, picking up the MAC address off that bridge. And so it's going to have the same manufacturer. That is not consistent with what the book says. But I can go by this open port 22 to find its IP address. Now let's look at a different way, an easier way. Perhaps. Go back into, oh, that's the wrong thing, pardon. There we go. When we're in bridge, let's turn off the Raspberry Pi. Well, we do that by remote desktop into the Raspberry Pi, or we can just putty into it. Okay, so let's just go to and here we go. We'll get back into the Raspberry Pi. Note that when I put it into it, I got that little message. And we're shut down. Now, we can unplug the pipe and disable the bridge. And now we're going to do something entirely different. We're going to share our wireless connection Oops. So we'll plug it in. Has to be enabled. Oops, it's bridge too. So let's remove it from the bridge. There. Now then. Back here. The sharing. There it is. Okay. All right. Now we're in. Does the terminal session still work? And there's a little message. The host key is not cached. So, yeah. I could say yes and cache it. I never get that again. I say no. And for this session, and there we have it. So, attached, and in this case, that concludes our presentation for today. Thank you very much.